Pisces. So, Pisces, your reading today, I got the impossible engagement. I have no idea what that means. Like, I'm thinking maybe you're thinking that it's absolutely no way ever that you would get married. And then somebody asks you to marry them. Isn't it like isn't that the way that it goes? Like as soon as you decide that you're not going to do something again, and then in comes the person that's like, oh, by the way, yeah, this is going to end up in marriage, so I just want to let you know that. And you're like, I just said I didn't want to get married. But there's no opposing energy to it. I think that's the thing, right? This is not like you're feeling like you would never get married. It's just kind of like, why? You know, like that's how I feel. It's like, why? Why? But another sense, it's like security. You know, people like to feel secure. They like to know that the other person's not going to go anywhere, that like this is a commitment to them. Like, I mean, marriage got made up back in the day because people actually genuinely wanted to get married and cross the line so then they would be bound together until death, right? And some people really genuinely love each other. It wasn't about just trying to take a man for everything he's got and trying to be a stay-at-home mom and watch soap operas. Like that's the fucking dream for every woman. Like, right? So many. Anyways, maybe you were down that road where you were like, there is no fucking way because of the way society places marriages, right, that you would ever do that. But there's always a way to do it for you. Whoa. Right? There's always an answer for you. And Spirit almost wants to say, like, do it differently. You know, like, be that person that just goes to City Hall with 2 witnesses. Be that person that's, you know, gets married on a beach and just has a couple people with them, or in the woods, or you know, you don't have to spend 10 grand on a wedding. You don't have to buy a wedding dress. Like, so many things. I mean, I did event wedding planning. Like, I know what that consists of and how much people spend. And like, I was in a small town figuring out, you know, how much people spend on their wedding. Even watching how much my stepbrother spent on his wedding, I was like, they spent like 3 hours just doing pictures. Like, they were getting pissed off about it. And I'm like, thank God. Like, he didn't put me in his wedding party because his wife doesn't like my sister and I. So we weren't a part of that wedding at all. And I was like kind of happy about that. Like, I'm not going to fucking sit around all day taking fucking pictures for you so you can just fucking put them all over Facebook. Like, and I know my cousin got married just for a photographer, just to take pictures, just to have a party. That was her prerogative. She knew what she was marrying. She knew it was never going to go anywhere. But she wanted a baby. She wanted to get married. She got married. She had a baby. Now she's on her own. 5 years later, was it worth it? She's going to say yes because she got a kid. But deep down inside, I know her true self is telling, no, it wasn't worth any of it, because she didn't want to wait for the universe to give her what she truly needed. She stole something and then just went with it. Very funny how that works, eh? Somehow I feel like you're on the opposing end of that, okay? You do not steal anything. You do not try to take anybody's man from them. You do not take what's not yours. You don't take what's not manifested by you. Why do you want something that's owned by somebody else? Woof. Woof, woof, woof. Everybody wants to be a fucking dirty dog, right? Like, okay, so as you can see, I showed you the cards while talking. Girl with the snake, girl talk, and coffee cup. So what I feel like is there could be like, because when I brought up the energy, I wanted to know if it had, if this was like you with somebody else, but I got only one, even though that says 2. I only got one character in the scene, so I do believe this is just going to be about one person, okay, and then the meeting, okay. So what I feel like is there could have been some type of paradigm that you left behind, okay, and you might have put up boundaries. And with those boundaries, you've now learned how to work within them and how to put them up and how to allow people through them, who gets through, who doesn't get through, enabling, disabling, right? That's the kind of thing I feel like is going on with you. Taking your life very, very seriously when it comes to people who you let in, right? It's not an open door policy. It's not just, bring your own booze, come on by. It's, if you didn't call me, why the fuck did you just show up at my house? No, it's not BYOB. I don't drink anymore. Like changing yourself, like figuring out, like I asked my sister, I'm like, why does everybody just go out and drink? Like, if you don't want to drink anymore, why do you go to a bar? Like, isn't there anything else you can do? Like, go fucking smoke a doobie with your friends, grab a fucking radio, get a couple fucking trucks, go on a field, fucking hang out, fucking throw some darts, fucking set some guns off. Like, why do you gotta go to a bar? Like, go fucking, like, I mean, with dudes, like, with chicks, I mean, fuck, chicks can just go and have a fucking cup of coffee and sit and talk for hours. Okay, girls are a little bit different than how boys play. Okay, but at the same time, I feel like girls need to expand on their shopping bullshit. Fucking, I need to go get my nails did. Like, you know how many funguses are passed around those nail salons? It's disgusting. They're soups, they're stews, bunch of fucking shit thrown in together, all boiling up. Ugh, bacteria. Ugh, right? So I feel like you're moving on, okay? You moved on from something, and that's where the real change happened. Is once you put the fences up, once you put the guards up, then you were able to figure out how to live happily single. And that's what I just talked about. Doing shit, like finding out new ways to hang out and to fulfill your energy, and that not all your money has to be spent at a mall, that you can actually invest time into yourself. You can invest time into your car, into your vehicle, into your home, to your apartment, to your life, right? Putting stuff into things that actually grow something, right? And I do believe like you've been living in the moment, and that's a lot of like, that's living in the moment is very different for living for tomorrow or living in yesterday, right? Living in the now is very hard for people to do. They're always waiting for another day. Can't wait for Friday. Can't wait for fucking, no one says can't wait for Monday. Can't wait till I get paid. Can't wait for this. And it's just like, but you're here right now. Like, what are you going to do with that day? As opposed to thinking what's going to happen in a week, 2 weeks, on Friday, right? Like lowering those standards and being like, okay, well, I can light up Monday's ass like it is Friday night, but I'm not going to be waking up Tuesday hungover and pissed off at myself because I didn't go out and drink Monday night. I went out and crafted. I went out and fucking stared at the stars with my telescope. I went out and did something else until 1 a.m, came home, still got 6 hours of sleep, and slept like a fucking boss and went to work. Why? No alcohol involved, right? Figure you can spend your money you can spread that shit out, man. You can buy yourself awesome toys that get you out into the world, right? And I think that's what changed, and that's where the meaning takes place. That's where the impossible takes place, because I think not only did you ever imagine getting out of the matrix, but then finding love for yourself, and that you don't need to spend certain things, and you don't need to go buy a pair of pants to make yourself feel good after a fight, that you just dealt with the fight and made yourself a really great cup of coffee and went and sat and chilled and thanked yourself for not having a breakdown. Changing those things brings in this new person, right? Because I think changing yourself was impossible enough, but then changing your whole vortex on marriage and what it actually consists of is like even more impossible, because now we're talking about meeting somebody, savoring the moment, and finding friendship with somebody. And that's one thing that like I've been really on the bank about with my life, and trying to teach my sister. And now my sister really gets it, like that you need to be best friends with your partner. Like I'm talking like, dating beyond like going out and doing everything together, sharing things together, being your best friend. If you can't hang out with a guy, if you can't chill with a girl because their personality, but they're sexy, like that's a different level. When you get on the level of like, okay, we need to hang out because we're best friends now, that evolves into something, right? Being friends with somebody and not crossing that pussy line right away, not sleeping with them right away, not fucking around with them right away, shows that you're actually starting to get to know somebody, because sex is the last thing, right? Sex is the last thing on the table. And it should be the last thing on the table because it's something that's always there no matter what. But is the time and the friendship there? Everyone's got a dick or a fucking pussy. It doesn't matter, right? Anybody can have sex. But can you hang out and have a fuck conversation? Can you trust them in the words that you say? Can you put them in your immediate circle and know that anything and everything that you do, that person's got your back? That's a different type of relationship, right? And like the relationships I've seen throughout my life in my family, it's all marriage based control. And I will never do it that way. And I remember having this type of reaction to dating and trying to tell my friend back about it when I was like 17, like already knowing then that I really needed to find a friend more than anything. And this chick goes to me, Whitney, you can't date your sister. And I go, how did you get my sister out of all that? What, because I'm best friends with her, you think that's what I'm describing? Well, then that's what I'm describing to you. If that's what you see, I don't know how else to say it. And at the time, like, she had just got her first boyfriend at 19 because she was a fucking fat, dirty slob. No offense to fat people whatsoever. You choose to look however you look. But this girl was just dirty fucking slob. And she finally got her first boyfriend. And then that first boyfriend got a massive crush on me. And then she just stopped hanging out with me. And she was so fucking shallow about it. And she was so fucking low about it that we were friends for like 3 years. And she just shafted me like that. Because her boyfriend got a dirty fucking hard on for me. And I'm like, really? And then they broke up. Because it was just about sex. That's all she could talk about. The sex, the sex, the sex. I'm like, yeah, but every time you hang out with him, I feel like he's a douchebag. Like, I think his name was like Daryl or Darren or some shit like that. And it turns out, like, he got angry, aggressive, attractive towards me. And he told her that she wasn't to hang out with me anymore. And that was why. It had nothing to do with anything else other than the fact that he wanted me so bad. And that was really fucking pathetic. Like, because that just goes to show, like, when you only put looks on the table, look what looks do. They just fucking toss them right back in your face. Because they weren't friends. If somebody demands you to do something, that's not a friend. They're automatically trying to control you. Why do you want to date somebody that's going to try to control you? If you have control issues or if you have a hard time controlling yourself, you need to learn how to control yourself, not find some sugar daddy or some fucking mom that's going to treat you like a kid. Like getting out of those areas of your life gives you this opportunity to meet somebody else, right? Like to meet actually somebody else that is like you, right? That lives in the moment, that's not thinking about tomorrow. Why are you always thinking about tomorrow? It's right now. What do you want to do right now? That's the kind of person that you meet, because that's the new paradigm that you've entered, because that's the level that you got away from to get to, right? Like it was a level that you couldn't reach for a long time and you stayed away from it, knowing that if you exited your life and all of the things that come with it that are keeping you there, you knew your life was going to change. And when that tower comes down, everything changes. And you might not have been old enough or prepared enough or ready enough to sit that stage, right? Now you are. So this is a whole new type of person, right? Yes. Oh, wow. Look at that. Addiction and the Grim Reaper. Your addiction and an addictive personality is over, right? You're not going to get obsessed with this person. You're not going to get addicted to this person. This person's going to be more like I always know he's going to be around. So why am I going to be worried about him calling me? I'm not worried about her calling me. I'm not worried about her. Because the addictions, the codependent, the obsession, the control, the block is gone. Right? Feeling like somebody has to control you in order for you to stay controlled isn't a good enough relationship anymore. right? That's a child relationship. If you want a grown-up relationship where you are allowed to do whatever you want and you are allowed to have an open and healthy existence with somebody, that's when you get the happy, loving existence with somebody. And now I just got palm tree on the top of the deck. That's stability, security, prominence, growth, endurance, and flexibility. And that's what you've learned, is that you've learned how to be flexible. You've learned how to go with the flow. You've learned how to drop the addictions. You've learned how to drop being such an empath, being so empathetic to everybody else, but yet having none for yourself because someone's controlling it to go into their life, right? Like this is the impossible because you cross the impossible lines. Like Pisces, this is graduation. And when you graduate, you go into that career. What you've always wanted. Hope it resonates.